Today I come to do examination. I come bringing a lot of questions for you. And you know, it's always hurting when the master never told you we will have quiz. And then he enters and he says that class test. That is where you begin to complain. Master, we could try the entire course. I come bringing you questions. Questions from what we have just listened to. How many of you really believe in prayer? How many of you? If because of some struggles, personal problems with God, you know, sometimes you have problems with God, like Job. So you don't worry. How many of you personally believe in prayer? How many of you believe, I said in prayer, in the power of prayer? How many of you believe in the transcending effects of prayer? Munim say empire and tisento sempro. The effect of prayer and renache. I hope somebody gets the understanding of this. Prayer has an effect, it never corrodes. Prayer does not rust. Prayer can take thousands of years and the effect are still biding. How many of you believe in that? That you can say a prayer and it goes ahead of you thousands of years, even when you are not even around. These are the questions I bring to you this morning. Because I am looking into the prayer of Jesus. This is a prayer said more than 1,560 something years ago. Let's say more than about 1,700 years ago. And you know what Jesus did? Jesus was praying at a moment and he prayed into thousands of years of future. Jesus prayed even for disciples that are yet to come who were not in the room. Jesus prayed for us when we're not even there. I want to ask, how many of you are able to pray into the future of your children? Like you bring the children in the room and you pray over them and you say that in years to come, I want ministers to come from this family. We want priests to be of this family. We want reverend sisters to be here. We want catechists. We want big men. We want politicians. We want good leadership to come out of our children. The problem is that we stay at that present moment and we are not able to look into the future and pray. But that is not Jesus. Jesus believed in the transcendent power of prayer. And so Jesus prayed into the future. Have you ever prayed for your spouse to be in the future? Have you ever prayed for your womb in the future? For the children that are about to be born, you don't see them like Jesus, but Jesus prayed into the future. And listen to the words of Jesus when he prays. Jesus prays with so much faith. He says, Father, I am praying for those, not those who are just here, but those who will come to believe in their word. You know what that means? Jesus was saying that I am praying that these people who are listening to me in this room, they are going to be effective teachers of the word. They are going to preach the word and people are going to listen to them. All these are included in the prayer. And because people are going to listen to them like I am preaching right now, people are going to believe in the word and they are coming to believe in me. And there will be so much of them that there will be diverse people with different language, with different ethnic backgrounds, with different backgrounds and family backgrounds, different societal backgrounds. And because of that, there will be differences and challenges. And when it happens, even when I'm not here, thousands of years to come, Father, may they be one. It was a present prayer into a future circumstances. Some of us, we are not praying into the future. Not so with Jesus. Jesus looks into the future and he prays. And sometimes I always say it, especially when I'm moving with our catechists for communion rounds and for the sick. I say that you know that many of us, we are enjoying the fruits of some years back, our grandfathers that prayed for us. Some of us, we are being saved out of problems and accidents, not because we are praying now, because somebody fasted those times, went to the mountains. These days, we don't even speak of going to mountains to pray. And they prayed and said that, God, protect my descendants and my progeny. Lord, my offspring will never face this. And we are enjoying it. Have you ever prayed for your children? for your nephews, your cousins, your nieces? Do you pray into the future about them? Jesus is teaching us the transcendent effect of prayer. There is no prayer that is said that corrodes within time. It doesn't happen. God watches over every word that is spoken in prayer. With prayer, excuse me to say, I'm not talking about that normal balance of prayer. I always tell you that is not a prayer. Father, Father, that is just an expression of wanting to pray. I'm talking about the consciousness of a father listening to you. That kind of prayer that you get out of the room of prayer and you remember how the feelings and the emotions were when you were praying. Sometimes you remember the exact words you put before God in prayer. That is the prayer I'm talking about. I want us to believe in the power of prayer. Waiting means that we have to pray. We are waiting for the descent of the Holy Spirit. It is a moment of transcendent prayer. For those of us who have never cared about what is about to happen in the future, Jesus is teaching us that, Father, I am praying into the future that they may be one. Over thousands of years, when we come to church every Sunday, we come and in professing our faith, we say we believe in the one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church. You know what that came from? We believe in that one holy Catholic because Jesus had prayed they will be one. So now we profess and we stand in the future prayer that he gave us. Would you pray into the future of your family? Stop sometime looking at just the present moment and just throw yourself into the future. Not just for you, but for your children, for the generation to come. Some of us, sometimes we tell our children, no, it is not a good thing. Tell them that, you see, I walked from here to here, but in a time to come, I have prayed to God. You will never walk on foot in dusty areas. You ride in the best of cars. It is a prayer into the future for your children. Never wish that the hardship that you have gone through, your children will go through the same. Don't ever think that that state of richness you have attained, your children should just get there. If you are buying land, tell them that, look, in future to come, I am praying to God, you buy estates. That is a future prayer. Jesus says, let them be one, Father, even those who come to believe in me. And that prayer transcends. When we die, that prayer still goes on. The effective power of prayer. The effective fervent prayer of a righteous man, James says, avails much. It works wonders. I want to talking about prayer. I want us to also focus about this man called Stephen and what happened to him. You see, after the ascension, it looks as if Jesus has broken the walls of heaven. It looks as if he had ascended into heaven, and now every word that you speak ascends easily with him to the Father. And so when Stephen says that he looked into the heavens and it was open, the people could not believe it. You want to open the heavens? This has been shut from the time of Adam. You would open. Yes, prayer opens things that looks impossible in the sight of men. That is the power of prayer. But Stephen did something. It touches me so much. In our days, these young boys coming up will not understand the system of game during our time. The best game that you could get during our time was a certain Nintendo. The player gets the ball, TV game. Before he will pass 3 minutes, you can go and eat. These days they play PS4 and 5. They don't get it. In those times, games actually mean that you get out of your house. And you know, we don't chew lizard, but it was game, sports time. And one time, I went with a friend, be a friend, stubborn, very fast. As I am standing at the other side, the other friend is here. And a far one. I tell you, each time I say that, I go and check, I think I still feel the pain, even though it is there. Have you ever been hit by a stone before? Even when Nipano wa Ansheda, I don't know, have you ever been hit by a stone that someone threw before? The pain in it, what hurts me is that after that he told me, why am I kotre negame? That excruciating pain that accompanies stoning, and I am just imagining for Stephen, they are stoning him. It is not just one stone. I want you to remember, I want you to picture this. I told you the power of the word comes from your ability to imagine what is said in the context. They are stoning Stephen. Every stone hurts. Luke writes, he's not mistaken, and he says this: as they were stoning Stephen, he prayed. As they were stoning Stephen. For me, if I were to write this story, I will explain further. As they were stoning Stephen, no, Luke says, as they were stoning, he did not scream. He did not murmur. He did not complain. He did not complain about his state of life. No, Stephen prayed. For every stone that hit Stephen, Stephen turned it into a word of evangelization. The effective prayer of a righteous man. And you already know the story. It is said that the garments of Stephen were laid under the feet of a certain man, Saul. The story about Saul is more than Stephen in the Acts of the Apostles even, not to talk of his letters. Can you believe it that Stephen has prayed so much that it has affected his clothes, so that those clothes lying at the feet of Saul is going to turn Saul into Paul, into a great evangelizer, a prayerful man into the future. I don't know which stone is hitting you in life, but some of us, when we are hit by stones, we complain. When we are hit by certain stones in life, we murmur, we cry, and we regret for having taken a certain step. Not so with Stephen. As they stoned Stephen, he prayed. You are going to turn your stones into steps of ascension to heaven. You are going to turn your stones into steps of talking with God. For every stone, for every pain, for every tear, for every confusion, marital problems, barrenness, sickness, name it, cancer, diabetes, pressure, confusion, life situations you can't imagine. All of them are stones hitting you, but you have to take a certain step. When they hit you, you must pray. When the stone hits you, let it jump up into heaven. The effective, fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much. And Stephen prayed and prayed, and I want you to notice this. As Stephen is praying, the stones do not turn into bread. No. As Stephen is praying, the people stoning him, they don't stop. As Stephen is praying, those that are hurting him, some of you are praying for people who are causing you so much pain, who are hurting you, can't even bear them. I want you to know that as Stephen is praying, the stones and the pain and the blood that is gushing out from his forehead, it doesn't cease. But if you read the full story, they looked at Stephen and something changed. They said they looked into the face of Stephen. It is not said today. And his face had changed. Prayer does not sometimes change the situation. Prayer changes you to meet that constant situation. And that is why some of you, after prayer, that same situation, it becomes so light and you become heavier. Yes, that is what prayer does. Stephen prayed and it looks as if he did not feel the hurt and the pain coming from the stone. And Stephen prayed for his enemies. Stephen prayed for them that they are ignorant. You see, Jesus had said that whatever I did, you do more than that. This is a clear sign. Jesus was crucified, Stephen was stoned. Jesus prayed for one man to get to heaven and for those standing beneath, and begged the Father and made an excuse for them. And Stephen did the same, more than that. Then he said, Father, please, I beg you. I know as it hurts me, it hurts you. But these people, they are ignorant. Please don't hold it against them. Prayer changes the mentality of the Christian. We want to come to God believing in the power of prayer. We want to come to God knowing that when we speak, a Father listens to us. We want to come to God and tell him that we are not praying over our things in the present time. but even into the future. I say about Dutch Empire. Empire Jesus, a boy, a man, a condoy, or catch an edge, say, Aja, when we are Chedia or the Amame, Miss Show, baby, I'm a one, I am a Mombraho. Jesus paved the way. Please, Father, make sure and help them that where you are sending me, the glory that you have shown me they have not seen, come and bring them and let them come and witness. Let me conclude with this. If you don't make it to heaven, you have disappointed Jesus. If you don't make it to heaven, if you make any stone prevent you from going to heaven, it will really hurt Jesus, because Jesus is actually waiting for us to come and see something. He tells his Father, get them to me where I am. Let these prayers turn stones into steps with which we were sent to the Father.